Welcome in, Seahawks Today, presented by Manscaped. Go to manscaped.com. Use the promo code Seahawks for 20% off plus free shipping. We'll tell you more about their amazing products coming up later on in the show. But first, got a little challenge out there for the 12. Somebody commented 100 times on a 49ers video the other day, and Chase was telling me about it, and he said, no way that could happen on Seahawks. I said, let's prove you wrong, because we got the best fans in the National Football League. So I really want to stick it to Chase, our 49ers host, and get down in the comments. Here's what we'll do. If you comment 100 times on today's video, you are guaranteed to get a shout-out. So everyone that comments 100-plus times or more, we'll shout you out here later on the week here on Seahawks Today. So a little challenge out there, and we'll get started with today's show. Training camp takeaways. We are several days into training camp at this point. Most recently, you had the mock game over the weekend, and so we'll go over some news and analysis of what we've learned so far from training camp for your Seattle Seahawks. Let's start with the very good news about Tariq Woolen as he returned to practice, and this was much anticipated for Tariq Woolen to make this return as he passed his physical and was activated from the PUP list. Underwent that knee surgery back in May. The expectation was that he would be back in time for the beginning of training camp. Obviously, that did not happen, but nonetheless, he's back out there now, and Pete Carroll gave an update on Tariq Woolen's situation. Here's what he had to say. Workouts have been extraordinary, and we can't keep him on it any longer, referring to the PUP list. He's just too close. We're still going to take care of him and make sure that we get him back to football movements and the football kind of changes in the direction and things in more competitive situations. He took individual drills today, and it'll be a little bit different tomorrow in the process. He'll be real quiet this week. We won't give him a lot of work, but we're stressing him in the workouts, in the rehab work to make sure that he gets there. So there's Pete Carroll on Tariq Woolen's status where things stand right now. So I got to say, when it comes to Tariq Woolen at this point in time, I'd be surprised if he played on Thursday. There's no real need to rush him out there before he's ready. But no question about it, Tariq Woolen is going to be one of your starting outside corners. I know that we've seen Mike Jackson have a really good offseason. Obviously, you brought in Devin Witherspoon with your number 5 overall pick. Tariq, even coming off the injury and all that, he's still him. He is him, right? He'll be on one side. The competition is for that other side of who will be the opposite corner from Tariq Woolen. But I think Tariq Woolen is going to look fantastic and have another great season. Even if he did get disrespected by Madden, I'm not having it. The competition is for who's going to start on the other side. So let's ask you, who is going to be CB2? Is it Devin Witherspoon or is it Mike Jackson? Weigh in. Tell us what you think in the comments section. DW for Devin Witherspoon. MJ for Mike Jackson. Who do you think is that number 2 corner? They'll start on the other side. Weigh in. Tell us what you think in the comments section. DW for Devin Witherspoon. MJ for Mike Jackson. Cannonballs this summer. It's not about the size of those cannonballs. It's about making a splash with our friends at Manscaped. Prep for barbecue season by making sure your grill master has the hottest dogs the summer has ever seen. When you're at the cookout, let the meat speak for itself with Manscaped's Performance Package 4.0. It's time to get ready, not sweaty, by going to manscaped.com and using the promo code Seahawks for 20% off plus free shipping. So you may be asking, what is included in the Performance Package 4.0? That's where I come in and tell you. The Lawnmower 4.0 is one of my personal favorites. And listen, I mean, we've all been there where there's just too much down there, and nobody wants to do anything with that, right? You got to keep it trim, keep it clean. That's where the Lawnmower 4.0 comes in, and it will do you wonders. I can promise you that much. We also have the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant because, let's be honest, you're not getting anywhere with stinky balls. Got to take care of business, not just in your pits, but down there as well. Got to cover it all as far as I'm concerned. You also got the Manscaped Boxers, which are pretty snazzy looking, if I'd say so myself, and also the Shed travel bag as well. And on top of that, get this, folks. We have the Shears 2.0, a luxury nail grooming kit as well. All a part of this performance package, which you can get, can be yours today for $103.99 with promo code Seahawks. That's online at manscaped.com. Promo code Seahawks, 20% off. You'll get the free shipping as well. Great package deal that we're offering just for viewers of Seahawks today. Head to manscaped.com right now. Promo code Seahawks to get yours today. Number 2 on our camp takeaways, we turn to the quarterback position. It wasn't just Geno Smith, but it was also Drew Lock and company, as all of the quarterbacks looked on point in the mock game that happened over the weekend. Let's show you these statistics from this mock game. Geno Smith, 10 of 15, 171 yards, did not have a touchdown or an interception. Good outing from Geno. Drew Lock was very impressive. 16 of 22, 178 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. And then Holton Ahlers, who the Seahawks picked up as a UDFA out of East Carolina. He was good too. 5 of 7, 68 yards, and 1 touchdown. Seahawks Wire had this report on Drew Lock specifically. Listen to this. As suspected, Smith and the starting offense looked sharp against the second-string defense. But Lock and the second-team offense did do damage against the starting defense. In the end, it was a solid day for Seahawks signal callers. Look, we know that Geno Smith has been good in camp, and we've heard about the work that he's putting in, and the expectations obviously are very high for Geno Smith to not only improve upon what he did last year, but even take things up another notch, and it looks like things are heading that direction. But as far as Drew Lock goes, this is very exciting to see Drew Lock play very well, right? We were waiting for it last offseason, waiting for him to have his moment, and it just never really happened. Now, in this mock game, Drew Lock balled out against the first-team defense with the second-team offense. Sure, it's not a quarterback competition this go-round, but finally, Drew Lock, I love it. I want to see more of that from Drew Lock. That's a huge step in the right direction, because if, God forbid, something happens to Geno Smith, Drew Lock's got to be ready to go, and that was a huge step in the right direction. So shout out to Drew Lock for putting on a good outing there in front of the fans and everything. Speaking of putting on a good outing, we hope the Seahawks do that on Thursday night for our Seahawks versus Vikings watch party live here on Seahawks Today. And, you know, with a watch party, we're not only going to have a few drinks and enjoy the Seahawks game, but we're going to do some giveaways. It's going to be a super chat palooza. We are going to rock out with our Hawks out here, folks. You will not want to miss this. If you've never been a part of the Seahawks Today watch party, prepare to be amazed. It's going to be like something you've never seen before. We're going to get started about an hour or so before kickoff, and all this week, we are challenging our Vikings channel in subscribers. So not only do I need you to subscribe to the channel to stay up to date what's going on with the Seahawks here on the channel with our daily videos, but that way you can make sure and join us, and so we can beat the Vikings not just on the football field, but off the football field as well. A little bit behind in this sub-battle right now, so let's do our part. Subscribe now for free. Join the family. Let's beat Vikings now before kickoff and show them who's boss here on Seahawks Today. Next up on our takeaways, we turn our attention to Boye Mafe. And Pete Carroll's been hyping up Boye a lot. And in that mock game, he lived up to the hype of what Pete Carroll's been talking about. Let's set up the scene for you here. John Boyle tweeting this out of what Pete Carroll had to say about Boye Mafe. Probably the most improved player from last year to this year. Now, what did he do in the mock game? Listen to this from Seahawks Wire. Mafe actually sacked Drew Lock accidentally, forcing a fumble. While this was not necessarily supposed to happen on Friday, I'm sure all will be forgiven if this happens during the regular season. Freddie Henderson of ESPN tweeted out, second-year outside linebacker Boye Mafe laughed about his strip sack of Drew Lock, as quarterbacks weren't supposed to be hit. That was not planned. I did not try to do that. Accident or not, it was a continuation of Mafe's strong camp. He's vying for the starting job opposite of Uchenna Nwosu. Pete Carroll, more on what he had to say about Boye Mafe and his praise for Mafe as of late. He's putting together some really good stuff in terms of pass rush. He's getting a game of his own style, the things that he's worked on. He's a good run defender, and he's really tough and runs really well. So he's doing everything well right now. I think the potential is there for Boye Mafe. We've seen the flashes here and there, right? Every once in a while. I think personally, and you might call this a bold take, a hot take, whatever it may be, but I'm just going to be real with y'all. I think Boye Mafe is capable of being that 10-sack-plus caliber pass rusher as far as I'm concerned. I know we saw Darrell Taylor put together 9.5 last year, and that was impressive. But I really like the potential, what Boye Mafe could potentially bring to the table for this Seattle Seahawks defense. The athleticism, the speed, it's all there as far as I'm concerned. Let's see Boye take advantage of this opportunity. More of what we saw last week in that mock game, I think, is ahead for this Seattle Seahawks young superstar. Do you believe in Boye Mafe? If you do, if you're like me and you're all in on Boye Mafe, type B for believe. If you're a little hesitant, if you're not so sure about Boye Mafe, type D for don't. Let us know what you think if you're all in on Boye Mafe or not. B for believe, D for don't. We've talked a lot throughout the offseason here about undrafted free agent Jake Bobo, and he certainly shined in the mock game over the weekend. 7 catches, 76 yards, and a touchdown. He was the leading receiver among all of them over the weekend, and it's a golden opportunity for Jake Bobo right now with the suspension that D. Eskridge was handed for 6 games and his status uncertain for one of those roster spots. Now's a chance for a guy like Jake Bobo to prove himself of why he deserves to be on that roster, and he certainly made a statement with the way he was able to perform on Friday. Geno Smith even caught attention of Jake Bobo, saying this: Bobo has been doing a great job ever since minicamp and OTAs. He was a guy that was showing up on tape and making plays consistently. He's a guy that knows his assignment and has a lot of confidence and swag. Everyone around here loves Bobo. We're happy to see him make those plays because he can be a really good player. How about that? Getting the praise of your quarterback, that's a good start right there. Still an uphill battle to make the roster, as there's a lot of guys contending for those final roster spots in the 53-man roster at the receiver position. But I definitely think that he's worth keeping around. It might be a practice squad player, and I know that's going to disappoint some folks that are really rooting for Jake Bobo, especially when you consider the size, right, and the red zone threat that he could potentially be. But I would expect that he's still going to be in the building, at least when the season gets going. Don't know if he's on the 53-man, on the practice squad, whatever it may be. This is not the last you've seen of Jake Bobo. I am very excited to see what this young man could put together. Last one on the takeaways. This one, not so great. Running back injuries starting to pile up of some sorts. We had some news come out over the last couple of days in regards to the running backs. Also, corner Andrew Whitaker. We'll talk about him in just a second. Let's start with Kenny McIntosh, the 7th-round rookie out of Georgia. McIntosh has a left leg wrenched awkwardly by linebacker Levi Bell that rode him to the ground. McIntosh came off gingerly and was evaluated on the sidelines before having an ice wrap applied to his leg. Meanwhile, with Whitaker, he's out for the season with a tendon injury. So unfortunate news for Whitaker. But back to the running backs. As far as McIntosh goes, here's where he joins the rest of the running back room when it comes to the injury front. You got Kenneth Walker with that groin issue. He's expected to be back soon, though, not something that should linger on too long. Zach Charbonnet with the shoulder, he's back. He's back practicing, and it seems like he's fine, good to go. So that's good news as far as Charbonnet goes. You have DeeJay Dallas a little limited right now with an ankle issue, and then this ankle issue here with Kenny McIntosh, not expected to be a long-term problem. Should return soon. But nonetheless, Pete Carroll weighed in on the running back injury, saying this: we have a bunch of guys on the roster right now. Fortunately, it's not too much of a burden yet. Charbonnet is coming back. He's fine. We're excited to see that happen. Kenny isn't going to be out for a long time. He's going to be okay. So that's very good news there. But, folks, this is a reminder of why you drafted 2 running backs, okay? History tells us that Seattle is going to work these guys a lot, and that injuries are going to pop up and happen. You're going to have a next man up mentality and use multiple running backs. It's already showing where we're at right now. So I know it's kind of alarming of some sorts. Luckily, things aren't too bad at the moment, but you have options. So hopefully these guys stay okay because we're already seeing them banged up at this point. So that's where things stand right now. It's not as bad as things may appear, but obviously it could get worse down the road. So what's your concern level with these running back injuries right now? Scale it for me 1 through 10. What do you think? What's your concern stand at right now? Let us know in the comments section. Hit me up on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Threads as well. At Tyler Jones Live, you can find me there. And I'll see you next time right here on Seahawks Today.